Hello and welcome to the Tanner's Tales podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Geesey, also known as Number 2 Pencil Man, and it is so good to be back on YouTube and on audio platforms, because this will be on both. But this is the start of reviving my YouTube channel, and what better way than with this fun talk show about stories and sharing stories. This platform will become a storytelling platform for people of all kinds who have all types of stories, whether they're funny stories, crazy stories, supernatural, sad, happy, all kinds of stories. No tale is excluded here at Tanner's Tales Podcast. This is the podcast where tales live. If you are just tuning in, be sure to check out my other stuff on my YouTube channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get this podcast really out there in the algorithm. And yeah, let's build this platform so other people can be heard and other stories can be shared. So this is episode, I guess technically 2, other than the intro. And I am here with my very first guest, SonicClassRiot. SonicClassRiot, thank you so much for being with me today. I am excited to hear your tales. So without further ado, SonicClassRiot, tell us your tales.
All right. Well, first off, absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me here. I actually met this rock star a couple weeks ago. We were doing a show together, and I was told that there was this larger than life mascot character who was shaped like a pen, who was literally shaped like a pencil, and I'm just like, in the spirit as a content creator, I had to see this. I heard the story. We became friends. So Here we are, and this is my tale. So, as you kind of can see here, my name is SonicClassRiot1025. I value myself as a variety retro content creator, streamer. I'm on Twitch, but of course I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I have migrated. I started out on Twitch about 4.5 years ago after coming back. Stepping away for a while and then coming back. I have then since transitioned into YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I live in a Sonic gift shop, in case you can't tell by the background here, and I value myself as a variety retro, just overall hype content creator. The thing we do, we call ourselves The Lounge, and we like to not only give you guys the most hypest introductions possible, but the most creative nicknames possible when you come into our content, into our streams. We want to make you feel welcome. We want to make you feel like you're at home and have your own custom introduction for the world to know who you are and why you're so amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. Do you actually live in a gift shop?
I don't. I don't. The running joke is that I do, but no, it's actually really a room. It's really a room. Although the other consensus joke is that, as a retro streamer, I have a lot of retro consoles. So it looks like Best Buy and GameStop got together, and this is my room, basically. With, when you have, 7, 8 consoles, this is, what your room looks like.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been a gamer since I was 6 years old, and even before then, I of course, many people, grew up as a Nintendo in a Nintendo family.
Yep.
But my first experience into the world of gaming was 6 years old. I got a Sega Genesis for Hanukkah. I put in Sonic the Hedgehog, and within 5 minutes, I was I had never seen something with speed, color, sound. 6-year-old little me was just what is this? And 33 years later, it's become part of my identity, as you can clearly see here.
That's cool. I remember my very first video game system. I got a Nintendo Game Boy SP, Advanced SP. That was my first ever experience with video games, and it changes your life. It
does.
Really does.
It does. I had no idea that, because you're a 6-year-old kid, you don't think these things through, and it's just some 30 years later that it becomes and it's kind of funny because Sonic, it's a character, but if you really think about it, it's become an extension of not only branding, but what it's opened up to me, because people have identified me, with Sonic and love for the character, but it's a lot of those people are now part of my community. They're friends. They're real life friends. And it's helped me shape this it's weird how it's like in a weird sort of way the characters kind of come part of who I am, and it's opened up a lot of doors for me because all through my life I've always loved video gaming. I always thought I wanted to be in the game industry. I was the type of person that was just like, okay, bounced around from career idea to career idea to career idea, from like event planning to wedding planning. Like I have bounced around so many times with ideas. However, video games has always been something that's just, it's been there. It's just kind of stuck with me. And I thought video gaming was like in the working in the industry itself was like the path itself. However, about 5 years ago, wow, it's been almost 5 years now. Wow, holy jeez, how time just goes by. I tried streaming for the first time about 5 years ago. But I learned 5 years ago that like they always say what you know now versus what you knew back then. You know, you wish you knew now what you wish you know now what you knew now, as they say. So 5 years ago, I wasn't ready. You know, I heard about streaming. It was fun. It was cool. But like, I was like, okay, cool. Let's just like dive into a stream team and let's just dive into, you know, trying to get all these sponsors and all this branding, like without like doing any research. Like, okay, no, you're a streamer, so you got like the first offer you get, the first stream team you get, the first brand deal you gotta take. You know, I'm like thinking like, okay, I have to dive head first. And when I did, I crashed and burned, and I was just like, okay, this is not what I thought it would be. I'm not a part. I don't feel part of a team. I don't feel part of anything. So you know what? Forget it. I'm just stepping away. This isn't for me. I'm just gonna, as they say, go outside and see the sun again. Go outside and see the world and do all these different things here. So I did for a bit. And then the girl who I'm with now, who there's going to be two special people I'm going to be mentioning in this podcast. The girl I'm with now, her name is Katie. We've been together 6 years. And she said to me one day, she's like, you miss streaming. I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, you miss streaming. I'm like, I'm trying to be the perfect boyfriend. She's like, you're going back to streaming. I'm like, no, I'm not going back to streaming. She's like, you miss streaming. You're going back. This is not a discussion here. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a Facebook 4-hour stream for, I think it was like Hurricane Katrina at the time, the victims Hurricane Katrina. I'll do a 4-hour stream. I'll try to raise a little money, but after that, no more discussion. Well, I'm here on this podcast, and it's been 5 years since that stream. And my room is decked out, and I have all the streaming equipment. So you kind of can see who was right in that argument and who won that argument.
That's funny. That's awesome that you have a partner that's really supportive of what you do and is willing to be like, you know what, you're not being yourself, and you want to do this thing, so go out and do it. Also, side note, my wife, who I've known for 7 years, her name is also Katie, and she's done the same thing to me. So that's awesome. Girls named Katie, they'll help you out. They'll get you on track.
They will.
That's a fact. No, but that's awesome. And when you started streaming, did you start with Sonic, or was it something else? Did you have a different idea in mind?
So I had originally, when I first did the streaming stuff, like the year before I became SonicClassRiot1025, I always, and even when I transitioned, started SonicClassRiot1025 again, I was like, okay, it's got to be all retro, it's got to be all Sega, because that's who I am, that's what I grew up with. My mind was like, you can't branch into anything else. If you try anything else, people are going to forget about who you are. They're going to lose sight of what you're doing. They're going to get confused. So you have to stick with this, and that is it. So I'm doing the stream thing. I started on PlayStation 4. You know, no camera, no nothing, no PC, nothing like that. So then when I finally got into the streams and, you know, was doing the things, okay, I did the Sega games for a while, and it was working and whatnot. And then one day I was kind of like, you know, number one, you're kind of running out of Sega games because you don't got a Sega Genesis to stream. You don't got any way to to capture it on a stream. Number 2, Steam only has so many games for Sega. And number 3, that day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Mario. And I'm just like, I really want to play Mario 3. And I was just like, do I do it? do I do it? So I decided, like, okay, it's one stream. I'll just play Mario 3. It's fine. It'll be a joke. People think, haha, funny while we're in the wrong stream or something like that, yada, yada. But the ironic part is the real me actually grew up. Also, I'm a Sega kid. Mm-hmm. And of course, a lot of people remember the console wars of the 90s, Sega and Nintendo. You were Sega or Nintendo. I'm a Sega kid. I'm always Team Sega. But that didn't mean I didn't like Nintendo. And I think the problem was people thought I actually did not like anything Nintendo. So I had to clarify. I'm like, listen, I actually played Nintendo games also growing up, too. Like, I know I'm SonicClassRiot, but, like, I also played Nintendo games. So this isn't too far of a stretch off for me. And after that day, and I saw the feedback, I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, I guess it's okay. I guess I can try other things. The thing that I did not change, though, is my hypeness, and that is the one thing. My community, they like to call me the king of hype because, so, I don't know if you watch streams or not. I don't know if you watch Twitch streams. Okay. People will welcome you in and whatnot, and people will, say, hey, how's it going? Welcome on in. You'll come and I'll be like, oh my God, guys, we got guys, you will not believe who's here, guys. This is number 2 Pencil Man. He literally was at a show. He is one of the most creative, and this is true too, one of the most creative and sharpest, yeah, I went there, sharpest minds I've met in a long time, and I'm gonna use those words because the identity is a number 2 pencil, and how sharp is true. That? But that stuck. That whole thing stuck. Where, awesome. Yeah, I might play different games, but the vibe as far as, like, you're going to walk in, they're going to be like, whoa, wow, I feel like I got the right carpet.
That's awesome. How did you decide you wanted to do that? Like, how did you come up with that?
You know what? It's funny. I really wanted to try streaming. Mm-hmm. And I think I was so excited to know the fact that I was actually doing it that I didn't realize I was doing it because I was just so happy to see anybody in my stream. And it kind of just like, it just built. It's like I started out streaming. I was just super happy to be live. If anybody showed up, I didn't expect anybody to show up. So when people actually that weren't my family or friends started to show up, I was just like, oh my God, like you're here? Like you're watching me? There's other people, like, you're watching me. So then I was just like, okay. And I am 39 years old, and I have been a professional wrestling fan for 39 years. And there's a lot of pageantry, a lot of over-the-top introductions. Yes. So you combine all that, and that is why I sound the way I sound when I'm streaming.
Shout out to wrestling. I feel right there with you. I'm a big fan of professional wrestling, so I love whenever like the wrestlers come out. They're like, introducing exactly in this corner. I love that stuff. Like, I feel like that is what. Oh, you're right. It just gets that hype going. So that is so fun. Like, do you remember how many people tuned into your first live? Like, because obviously you're doing it still, so there had to be a decent turnout in your, like, at least what you thought was a decent turnout at the time.
I mean, when I saw like my first 5 to 7 people, I felt like it was like 75 people because they say, see, they always tell you, they say, when you're streaming, whether it's 7 people or 750 people, give the exact same performance. Don't dumb it down because if it's 70, 700 people, it does not matter. You give 110% no matter how many people are there.
That's inspiring. Super inspiring. That's so fun. And how, so it started with that many. How much community have you grown over those 5 years?
We have, I think we have close to 300 people on our Discord, which I am very excited about. it's a lot. It's a labor of love. It's very, very just. It's hype for me because again, so it's hype for somebody like me because as creators, we have something the terminology called imposter syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or like.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is very real. It's like you're amazing at what you do. People tell you you're amazing at what you do. But then when at some point your mind goes that little place of just like, well, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Like, not as many people showed up today. Like, I must be doing something. It's never you. Okay? You are doing amazing. And as a public service announcement to anyone who's listening here, if you're out there every day, if you're at least trying, if you are at least accomplishing one thing on your list, you are making things happen. And no amount of anxiety could tell you otherwise. Anxiety is a liar. The truth is you're amazing, you're awesome, and there's nothing you can't accomplish.
Absolutely. I am in agreement with SonicClassRiot here. Motivation is one of my biggest things because I see so many people out there who just they doubt themselves. It's such a thing. Like everybody's like, I want to do this, but what if this happens, or what if I can't do this right? And I'm just like, just do it. Like, you can do it. You have more power than you think you do, and it's gonna be fine, and it's gonna work out. And you just gotta trust, and you just gotta believe in yourself, because that's the first step to starting anything. It's just like, believe that you can do it. I just hit my mic there. But no, that's so inspiring, man. This is awesome.
I owe so much, and I didn't mention to people. I owe so much to. She's my sister. She's my best friend. She's my ride or die. Also, so people might notice I wear bracelets before every stream that I do. These are from my best friend, my sister, who is a professional content creator herself. She is my biggest source of inspiration. She literally decided 3 years ago that she wanted to give content creation a try. And now she's out there as a YouTube partner. She's out there doing the live streams. She's starting to get into shows a little bit here and there. But she has also battled so much like mental adversity. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, there is nothing you can't accomplish. There's nothing you haven't accomplished. You make me the proudest brother every single day. And I am so proud of her for everything she does. And she's the most humble, most caring person in the world. And sometimes like we have to remind her just how amazing she is. Because despite everything she's accomplishing, she just still is so humble. And the biggest thing, and I could tell anybody here, that not only she taught me just about life, she's teaching about life and mental adversity and how to loving myself. Because for the longest time, I did not love myself. It has been a battle to love myself. And finally, after 36 out of my 39 years, I finally love myself. My sister was my go-to, my source of inspiration. So I said, listen, if you don't think you're accomplishing anything in life, you got me to finally love myself. That right there means you are doing amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow, she sounds like an amazing person. I'd like to meet her sometime.
Honestly speaking, I think she'd be perfect for your podcast, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Send the word. I would love to talk to her. I mean, does she do motivational stuff? Is that her kind of niche, or is it...
She doesn't. She does reaction videos on YouTube. Okay. She does, like, variety games on Twitch. Like, she does a little bit of everything. So, I kind of say part of my story, and I had a very near dear friend of mine who unfortunately passed away. He was part of our community. He told me, he said that I lucked out twice. He's like, because you had two amazing people. First off, you had a girlfriend who got you back into content creation, who has encouraged you and motivated you every single day, who has just been there with you 6 years, Katie. And then you have your sister, who also has been on this journey with you for the last 3 years. And they have both just kind of worked their way, and they have just done things mentally, spiritually, to just get me to where I am, despite like everything I've been through in my story.
A good support system is huge.
Oh, it's invaluable.
It really is.
Oh, it's sometimes actually, and honestly speaking, I think one of the biggest things or faults in my story that I feel like I'm a failure because I'm personally not doing this professionally just yet. But like, I remind myself, like, but look at the people you have in your life along the way. Like, I think that alone should have more value than like a financial gain, honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I feel like even if I can impact one person, then this whole thing is worth it. Whether I get to that point where I get monetized or not, it's all about servicing the people that do take the time to, I guess, consume the content I create. Like, Pencil Man is a big thing for me. I do a lot of motivational stuff with him on my other social medias. Now, YouTube has been neglected for the last year because of bringing up a child. He's about 16 months just about, so it's been hard for me to balance it all, but I've been able to stick with Number 2 Pencil Man and just doing the motivational thing. And for me, it's just like, I'm growing slowly, but for me, it's just like, even if I just reach one person and help them in a time where they just need that little helping hand to get them out of whatever they're in, or maybe to show them that there's hope, or to inspire them to chase their creative endeavors and dreams, and then I've done my job. And whether or not at the end of the day this whole thing takes off for me or not, it's all for just them, the people who take the time, who give me the chance to do the things I love to do. It's way more worthwhile than if I'm just getting paid and trying to do this for a living. I feel like it could become a chore then, maybe, in some ways. Like, of course, the dream is we want to make money for what we create.
We do want to make money, but I always say that if you forget why you start doing this, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
You need to always remember why you decide to do this. Why you decide, whether it's a YouTuber or TikToker. Like, if it's one where it's like the initial fun isn't there, then it's like, does it become worth it at that point?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. You're very inspirational too, by the way, SonicClassRiot.
Thank you. My sister, her name is Zena Von Kexusei. That's her username, her professional name. Again, between her teachings and, Katie being in my life the way it is, and also shout outs to Finley, because I was told to give, Katie has a dog named Finley, who is the most gorgeous puppy in the world. I was told, like, we gotta send some love to Finley as well, so hi Finley.
You have to send me a picture, I'll put them up.
It's been amazing, because before, like, I always feel like, they always say that, everyone comes in your life for a reason, whether it's to be like a part of your life, to teach you something, everyone's a part of the story. And yeah. I've had plenty of people who I thought you're going to be here forever, or were there for that role in my life that I needed. And it turned out, okay, they were just a lesson. And, they were just someone that were just playing a part that at the time you think you need, because you might not be the same person you were 5 years ago. So at the time, those people served the role good, because you didn't know better. But, and it's not to take away anything from those people either, and if anyone's out there listening, like, listen, you might have people who have done you wrong, but, if you can wake up and say, you know what, I'm genuinely happy, then despite what happened, it makes it worth it, because it takes you to where you are now. I'm sure you as Number 2 Pencil Man, despite any bumps you might have had, like, you wouldn't change at the end of the day. And that's the biggest thing right there.
The similar realization over time, it's like, if I did anything differently, or if anything was different than how it is, or how it was, then where I am now wouldn't be where I am now. I'd be somewhere else. And who knows what I would be. I mean, at some point, I would always come around to being where you want to be, I think. And some people just take longer. Some people align with it much faster. It's really hard to say 'cause it's personal. Everybody goes through their own journeys and their own stories, and everything has a part to play in it. Nothing is ever for waste, and that's something that I've come to realize now. It's like that small insignificant thing, like my whole number 2 pencil man thing. I sat on a pencil in 2nd grade. That was 2nd grade. Over 20 years later, I'm finally now have a character in a comic book based around that incident, and at the time I thought it was just going to be an embarrassing story. That would be something that would pop up from time to time whenever I'd be like, hey, I got a funny story to tell you guys. I sat on a...
Right?
And then now I'm like, well, it's become its own thing. It's like, wow, I wouldn't have thought about it, because when I came back to creating stuff myself, I didn't think I was going to make a pencil superhero. It was the last thing on my... Well, it wasn't even a thought. And then one day I just got the idea, I'm going to tell that story. Oh, wait, I should dress up and, really, like...
Tell that story, like, take it next level, right? Like...
Absolutely. And it's just like, you never know when these little things are going to pop back up. Some things that seem insignificant or have, like, you haven't figured out their reason yet. They'll come up whenever you least expect, and you'll be like, hold on a second. This happened before, which prepared me for this moment now, or inspired this idea, and it's crazy. It's like, really, you can't disregard anything in life.
No.
It all has something, a purpose. At some point, it's going to show up, and it's going to really probably blow you away when you least expect it. So I am in total agreement there. It's just like, everybody in your life, they have a time, they have a season, and they have a reason, and it's all of that, and eventually it all comes back full circle. So, super awesome to hear another person put it into amazing terms.
Oh yeah, like, I'm gonna be 40 this year, and it's a scary thought. You're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, but like, the odd thing about it is, like, I'm sure after the realization kicks in, I'm going to be like, okay, you're 40. It'll be like, okay. And then it'll feel like it's another day because, I'm on this journey and I don't know where the journey's going to take me. I am too stubborn to quit. I am too stubborn to try something else. I, of course, obviously, work, and because you got to make sure you're keeping a good flow for your family and whatnot, and you're getting married next year, so like you got to make sure like it's all, you're still staying afloat. But I remember I had a conversation with my sister one day, and she just said to me, she's like, you want to do this for a profession? I'm like, no, I don't want to do this for a profession. And she's like, yes, you do. She's like, trust me, you do. And when I realized I did, I realized the biggest reason why I didn't want to admit it was because I was at the time like 38 years old. I'm like, I'm too old. And you know what? As a creator, let me tell you something. That is something, if you're an older creator, but you love doing this, don't stop. Don't stop. Like, I know, I know this is like a game where there's like 20, 30, 40 million people who are doing this. But, like, why not you?
Yeah, there's only one you doing it.
Exactly. It's your story. And you know what? If your story is that you're old, guess what? One of the first panels I did was talking about, despite being old, why we still do this despite being old. That in its own right tells its own story. People want to hear the fact that, like, hey, just because you're older, it's like you're still doing this. Like, yeah, I didn't let it stop me. Like, despite my age being what it is. Like, and you know what? And it tells a good story. Like, there are a lot of young creators out there. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm at a show and I see somebody that's like in their 40s and they're like, they do something, to be like, wait, you're in your 40s and you do this too? I'm like, I'm enthralled.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's inspiring to see anybody chasing their dreams, no matter how old they are. And it doesn't matter. Like you said, it really doesn't matter. You can still do it. there is no limitations, no age limits, no. If this is something that you want to do, and this is something too that you're getting into, societal things. There might be some society norms that you come across that are like, you shouldn't be doing these things if you're that old. You know, they'll think it's like it's childish or it's things like that. It's like, no, I mean, if it's something that you enjoy, why not? I mean, people already go through life so miserable anyway, so it's like, why would you want to continue
Exactly.
to add to that? Just do the things that you want to do. It's more worthwhile when you're having fun in your own life, doing the things that you love. It's going to make life so much better for you, and it also makes it better for people around you too.
I saw both ends of that.
Hmm.
Actually, I was actually with I dated somebody for like 6 months, and they had a job, and one day I was kind of just like, why don't you quit? And they're like, well, this job paid for my house and it paid for my bills and whatnot. I'm like, but you're miserable every day. You don't like it. And she's just like, so what? It doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does matter.
It does.
Like just because like I get the financial thing, but like if you're going to work every day and you're coming back home miserable, it does matter. And that's why
Hmm.
like Katie is such a so different, because her attitude is like, I want you to live the life you never got to live.
No.
Yeah. So why we're
Okay.
married. So that's why, like I said, Katie's are amazing, you
Yes,
know.
they are. That's incredible. Like, yeah, it does sadden me to hear that because so many people are in that wagon where they're just like, you just gotta do the things that you gotta do to survive. And it's like, well, if you're just surviving, you're not really living.
You're
And
not living.
yeah, and obviously you still have a job too, so you probably
Yeah.
found something that you can at least tolerate and still enjoy. I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The job I have is fine. It's good. It's good hours. It works with mine and Katie's schedule. It's good for now. Obviously, you know, it's not endgame, of course,
Yeah.
but see, the thing is, the story also changes, because see, being that next year I'm going to get married and we're moving next year, right now that has to take a focus, and sometimes some things in your life has to, my sister taught me this. Sometimes in life, some things have to take a focus at the moment. It doesn't mean you're not giving up on your goals. It doesn't mean you're not giving up your dreams. No, absolutely not. But if there are certain things like a wedding or you're moving that are happening, that requires a good amount of attention and focus, and obviously financial compensation, of course. So
Hmm.
it's not that you're not giving up on your goals, you're not. But I also know as a creator that it is a very demanding field, it is a very hard field. To stand out in the crowd is extremely challenging. In fact, one of the biggest challenges is to, how do I stand out in the crowd? Because I've had creators come to me and I've listened to them, and you know, I'll say like, okay, so what do you do? And they're like, well, we're nice and we're cheerful, and I'm like, I understand that, I get that. However, what makes you stand out? Because in a dog eat dog world, as they say, how you stand out is like I said, honestly speaking, I am not going to lie to you, and this is no joke here.
Hmm.
Local play, that show we did,
Yeah.
the biggest thing I remember, there's two things I remember. Getting the game brute force for the Xbox, that because it was an obscure game that I got because I bought an Xbox because of this game. Of course, the game wasn't really any good or didn't live with expectations, but I remember the game came out on my birthday and I had to have it. So local play, there was a vendor that had that game, so I was like, okay, I just want to buy this game just to have it because of the story. That, and I'm at number two pencil man. But that's what I mean by standing out, though. It's like at that show, there were X number of vendors there, and
Yeah.
number two Pennsylvania is what I remember, just because like standing out in the crowd.
I'm honored that you remember number 2 Pennsylvania.
I mean,
I mean, it makes a statement, and you're right. You gotta stand out. It's you gotta put your own personality into it. That's what I think the key to standing out really is you have to take whatever you're creating and you have to make it your own. You have to fully invest yourself into it in a way that makes it unique, makes it stand out. And I think that you discovering how to love yourself is a big key in that, because you have to have a lot of self-love and
Oh
self-confidence
yeah.
to be able to, and for example, stand in a giant pencil suit in a mall that people are going to be walking around and seeing you, and it's not even just a Comic-Con. Like, this was I guess it would be more of a board game, video
It was like a mall
game.
show, like kind
Yeah,
of
it
thing.
was like
Yeah.
a more focused on games, video games, and collectibles. I'm sitting there vending with my own comic books that I write, and I'm dressed up as my character. And so there's nobody else really dressed up. Maybe there were like two or three people that came in costume, but they weren't like full blown costumes.
I kind of a lot of shows I'm in the same boat, because a lot of the shows I do, there are vendor tables. There are people selling comic books. There are people who are selling like anime. There are artists. I'm a content creator who has like a video game setup. I'm not selling anything. And I remember, because like I've had people say to me, well, why do you go to these shows, and like why do you buy the table if you're not selling anything? I'm like, because you're selling yourself. Because you're trying to like get an identity for people to pick up on. I did a stream on Thursday. Yeah, it
Hmm.
was Thursday. And someone came in the stream, and I was just like, okay, because Twitch has this thing where it says like, first time chatter, and they're like, first time chatter. I'm like, oh hey, how you doing? Like, welcome one in and blah blah blah. They're like, oh hey, I met you at local play, and I picked up your card, so I'm here to check out your stream. And I'm like, that's why we do these shows. That's why we do these shows.
It's exactly why, because I remember, and this will go into my story a little bit, when Number 2 Pencil Man came out, when I started Tanner's Tales Entertainment, I thought it was just going to be YouTube at the time. That was like my revival of my creative passion. And I was like, I'm going to do my YouTube skits, and I'm going to go to cons, and I'm going to promote myself. So I'd dress up as Number 2 Pencil Man, and that's kind of what then led the way for the rest of this to come into play. It was like, I started to promote just the YouTube channel, and now it has grown into its own business, and now I have comic books. So it's like, this podcast, of course, serves the purpose to help me revive my channel to get that going again, so that I can also have the content creation aspect back into all of what I'm doing. So, yeah, like, really, you gotta think outside the box too sometimes to really promote yourself when you start up. And I love what you're doing, like setting up the video game tables, genius. Like, how did you
Thank
come up
you.
with that idea?
You know what? So I met this woman. I met this woman, and this woman, her and her husband, Mary and Dan Campbell, they are like in their 60s, and they are doing like shows like exponentially, like once a month, like once every couple months. And shout out to them, like they're literally in their 60s, 70s, about like being older and like doing things like, here they are doing these shows. So I forgot where I was, and I got a pamphlet for this, like, for this Nerd Fest. I was like, okay, like, this sounds cool and unique, so I contacted Mary, and she's like, like, oh yeah, like, this is the table price, blah, 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 yada, 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 like, what do you want to bring? And I was like, I don't have anything to sell. Like, do I have to? And she's like, no, you don't have to sell anything. And then I said to myself, I'm like, okay, well. And then I thought to myself, what is, right away, whenever it comes to, for some, you talk about full circle
Mhm.
things here. Sonic 2. I was 7 years old. Was I 7 or 8? No, I was 7, because it came out November 24th, 1992. So I was 7. 7 years old. Being obsessed with that game. Where, like, I literally took my game with me everywhere because I was afraid it was going to get stolen. Like, the day it came out, like, being obsessed 7-year-old. First second stream I ever did. Live stream. Sonic 2. Then I full circled and I was like, well, I can't, I'm not selling anything. Then I was just like, Sonic 2. So that game has transitioned 3 times over into me, like a 7-year-old playing video games. One of my first live streams, video games, and something I could bring because I do like Deathless Sonic 2 on my stream sometimes. So I was like, Deathless Sonic 2 challenge. And it just kind of like, there it was.
That's cool. And did you just take that game, or did you take any other ones with you too?
So we have a so when we go to some of our shows, we have a mini. The Sega Genesis, they came out with an HDMI mini version about 6-7 years ago. Has a bunch of other games on there, but I primarily focused on that one. 2 reasons. Number 1 is my favorite Sonic game of all time. Number 2, getting to see the kids' reactions when they see a Sega Genesis controller and wondering what it is so priceless. Seeing a little kid and they say, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "You jump and you run." They're like, "What do I hit?" I'm like, "It's 2 buttons." And just seeing them play, it's like, how cool is it to see a 7 or 8-year-old play a Sega Genesis, knowing that you were that 7, 8-year-old kid who was playing the Sega Genesis, so I keep it with Sonic 2 just because the memories, and just because Sonic is so recognizable, especially with kids nowadays, it's just become so marketable for me that, like, kids and then parents saying, like, when I was your age, it's a game for me that's just, like, so, it opens up so many stories for so many people.
That's awesome. And why is Sonic 2 your favorite game? I gotta ask.
Just for some reason, it is like the most polished Sonic game for me. A lot of people pick Sonic 3 Knuckles, but for me, just, I don't know. Like I've told people, Sonic 1 kind of like Sonic and Sega, they brought the flag, and Sonic 2 is that they cement the flag, saying, like, listen, we're here to stay. Probably, probably to the story. Just the story of, like, being that 7-year-old kid who had to have Sonic 2 the day it came out, and then, like, watching Adventure Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Sat AM, and just, like, it's that game represented a time period for me that was so, like, very special for me, and really, like, opened my fandom up to what it became.
That's awesome. Wow, it's so incredible to hear, like, how that influenced you from a young age, and now how it is really full circle again, just like what you're doing and what you love most, and you're still just chasing after it. That is really awesome.
And people, like, for some reason, it blows my mind, because, like, I will stream, like, various games, but for some reason, no matter how many times I stream Sonic 2, people just, they still love watching me play that game. Like, no matter, like, I can't get away from that game no matter how hard I try. Like, it's there, and people love to see me do it. And I just, again, it didn't start out for kids, but those first couple of shows and seeing those little kids' reactions, that was just something that just has become such a favorite thing of mine now. Like, just seeing a little kid grab that controller and play. And I've had some kids play the game almost better than me, and I'm like, they're like, "Oh, we played on my iPad." I'm like, "Oh, that explains it." I was like, "How'd you get so good so quickly?" It's like you're 8 years old.
That's awesome. That's funny. The kids nowadays, they're with video games and technology in general.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
I don't know. Like, I thought, like, growing up with them as a kid, that I was good at, and seeing the kids nowadays is just like, nah, I can't hold a candle to these kids.
No, these kids are just like, that's cute. Give me the controller.
You can't play any competitive games against kids nowadays either.
Oh, no. You kidding me? No. I play Fortnite, and if I make top 50 in a match, I'm happy.
I haven't even braved Fortnite yet. I'm afraid. I'm like, as soon as I step in there, like...
No, you're okay though, because apparently it's by rank. So if you get in there and, like, so what'll happen is you go with a team. If you're the lowest rank, they make you they will make you the leader, because they'll put you in, like, the lowest ranked matches possible.
Good to know.
It's like there you go. Like,
No, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know if I would do it though. I'm a little scared of Fortnite still. That was like at the end of my main video game run, because I haven't played a lot of games since like high school. I've played a couple here and there, but it's not as regular as it used to be.
Isn't adulting just fun? Isn't
Yeah.
adulting just
Well, I
so
mean, I'm
fun?
finally coming back to the fun part of adulting, which is finding your inner
Right?
child and letting it loose again. Uh, but I don't know. Like, I like video games still, but I'm more like story driven anyway. So I prefer games that have the storylines
Me
that you
too.
can
Honestly,
go
yeah,
through.
me too. I cannot, like, I think that's why I pride myself as a retro variety streamer, just because retro games for me just always touch the place of my heart, and always
Hmm.
have those fun stories and tell great stories. It's not just like anything new nowadays or competitive. It's just like I like story. I like emotion. I like to feel things like a movie or a character. I love to play things, and like I love to introduce. I actually love to introduce like retro games to like a younger generation. Be like, hey, listen, like there's these really cool games that when I was your age that were just as good and just as amazing. They may not graphically look like what they look like nowadays, but trust me, there's so many things to enjoy about them. Honestly,
Yeah, no, I love the story driven games, and I think that we've kind of lost sight of that with some of the newer games, especially in the age of season passes and all of that. I feel like a lot of gaming franchises kind of cater to that nowadays, but you still get some games that come out of it that are decent stories. But back in the day, like the older days of video games, from the Sega to Nintendo up to I'd say GameCube and Wii was like some of the last game systems that really focused more on stories. It was like once the online came into it, the online play, that's when the story started to not be as important as like
it's
the
more
competitive
because
play
like
and
the big
everything.
market for online gamers. I'm just like, oh, but you're missing so many a niche of people who love just stories and single player. See, I'm that guy that will buy a game, play a single player campaign. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Call it a day. Spider-Man 2. You know what? Perfect example. Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. There's so many other things to do in that game. No, I played the story. I'm good. I played the story. I'm good. Thanks.
yep, I'm right there with you. No, that's fun. Like, I miss those days. I think much like any other industry nowadays, they got to go back to the heart of it, find those stories again, and get it out there. And that's part of the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. Uh,
Yes. And you're doing amazing with it, by the way.
oh,
Like,
thank
keep
you.
doing what you're doing.
And you too. I mean, honestly, listening to you and you sharing your stories about how you got into streaming and what you do with your streaming, it's inspiring. It really is. Like, dude, keep doing it. This is incredible. Everybody go check out SonicClassRiot1025. He is an amazing person. He is a close friend of mine now, and we'll probably be seeing each other at events, hopefully, for a long time to come.
And
But I
I'm
got,
totally going to invite this person onto a stream. Trust me. It's going to happen. Trust me.
oh yeah, no, I'll jump on. I'll be number two pencil man for a stream. I thought about doing it at some point, doing some types of streams as him. Um, I'd do maybe like indie gaming with number two pencil or something, number two pencil man, because I think that would be fun to give the indie creators a spotlight. I want to do more of that kind of stuff. So we'll see. You never know. We could always do a collaboration. That would be fun. But I do want to ask: is there any other tales that you have that you wanted to share? Any last tales?
Yeah, actually. It's funny because, I just want to say, like, to everyone out there, like, just never be afraid to open up the world that is around you. And because streaming has brought together my closest people. I because of streaming, I get to do these shows. I get to do these shows now with my girlfriend's sister also, who has we become super close, and she has three amazing kids, and they're now my nieces and nephews, and her name's Quinn, by the way, and she's an artist and she's amazing, and But my big thing about it is this, though. It's like, if I hadn't started streaming, none of this would have happened. If I didn't listen to Katie's advice, none of this would have happened. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have been happy. So the point I'm trying to make is this, though. I was at a very low point in my life. I gave up everything. I was at a very low point in my life. And you might be at a low point in your life too, who if someone's listening. But all it takes is maybe that one piece of advice, and it'll change, and it could change everything. Because that one piece of advice literally did change everything. And honestly speaking, I've spent an entire life wanting to be around video games. And if there's something you love out there, don't be afraid to embrace it.
Beautiful words there. That is, yes. Listen to Sonic Class Riot 1025. Seriously. Great advice. Good inspiration. Check him out. Where can they find you?
So, I am on Twitch. SonicClassRiot1025. I'm usually primarily live on Tuesday nights. We do an interactive trivia night every Tuesday night, a pop culture trivia night every Tuesday night, Thursday nights, and mostly Sunday nights as well. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Everything is SonicClassRiot1025. I figured it's one name, make it easier. Just find me on all socials under that name. We post daily, primarily daily on Instagram. YouTube, I at least try to do Sonic shorts once a week, and also Sonic related content on our TikTok as well. So that's what we kind of been working on. We've got some shows coming up, and we're very excited to have some great shows coming up.
That's exciting. Everybody, go follow Sonic Class Riot 1025 on all platforms. You won't be disappointed. Go check out his streams. Join his... Do you have a name for the people that watch your streams?
Yeah, it's called The Lounge. It's literally called The Lounge.
Go join The Lounge. Go play in those pop culture trivias. That sounds a lot of fun, by the way. Love that idea. Go watch him stream amazing, cool retro video games. Get introduced to some great classics with good stories and just good gameplay. So definitely go check him out. And we've come to the end of the second episode of the Tanner's Tales podcast. If you enjoyed listening to this tale, or these tales, there were a lot of tales in this episode, please consider giving us a like, a comment, and a subscription. Definitely stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more stories to come, whether I am reading stories of my own, or, well, not even just reading, whether I'm telling the stories from my own experience, or I'm sharing somebody else's story, or if I have a guest coming on and sharing their stories. There's going to be no shortage of tales. There will be tales for all kinds out there, and it won't just be inspirational. It'll be, like I said, there'll be some scary tales, there'll be some supernatural, some motivational, some sad, some happy, some funny, some just really crazy stories. This is going to be the podcast where all tales live, so you won't want to miss it. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of this, and also on the audio platforms whenever we're on there. So if you're on the audio platforms, please give us a rating and follow us and spread the word. If you want to be on the podcast, reach out to me. You can DM me at Tanner's Tales Entertainment. I'm on all social media platforms, or you can reach out to Number 2 Pencil Man. Either one will be fine. But definitely check us out, follow us, check out Sonic Class Riot one more time. Gotta say it one more time. And until next time, we shall see you again on Tanner's Tales Podcast.